And yeah, we're live, George.
Cool. Good evening, everyone. Happy Friday. Hope we're doing well this evening. Welcome to the Arsenal Women Chat Show. We are back to previewing the Manchester United game, massive game tomorrow, which it shouldn't have been, but but it is. But the less said about that, the
I
better.
don't know if you can hear me, but I can't hear anything, so I'm trying to figure it out.
No problem, Ravi. We can hear you. So yeah, I introduced you my guests. Paul, how you doing, mate?
Yeah, I'm all good, all good. Just wondering if there's only three of us. Have you not been renewing contracts, George?
I reckon they're all looking at better offers, like, mate. To be honest, so
Right, I
yeah,
can hear you guys now.
cool. And yeah, Ravi, how you doing, mate?
Yeah, not too bad, not too bad. It's
Oh.
been a bit of a rush to get in from work. Then I came back in, the internet was dead, and I was just running around like a headless chicken for the last 15 minutes. But now that I'm here, all
No
good.
worries, mate. I appreciate you here. I feel like the Arsenal PR team from yesterday. Like, there's three of us. I don't know. We could end up being like the Lena, Taya Goldie, and Amanda of the podcast. Hopefully not. So yeah, thank you to everyone who's watching so far. Please feel free to drop your comments in the chat. And yeah, we'll start. I'll start with you, Paul. Like I said, the less said about Villa and Brighton. Like I said before, I was glad I couldn't see, so that kind of made me have not to actually physically see it. Obviously, 12:30 tomorrow, last game of the season against Man United, winner. Well, as long as Arsenal avoid defeat, we secure second. And I don't know if you agree, but I just don't think people are actually making it as important as it is. We don't want to be doing qualifying rounds again, surely.
No, yeah, we've seen in the past that you can slip up in those very easily. We've had some big names go out in the early qualifying rounds, so the farther through it we can get, the better before we've even kicked a ball. And of course, this is going to be September time, so the team won't have had that much prep time after the Euros to sort of get back into it. So by avoiding the little group, the first qualifying round that we play in, those two games is sort of quite essential for us as a team to get back into the swing of things, with potentially any new signings coming in as well. Extra time on the training ground, and get through into the second qualifying round against whoever we happen to be drawn against.
Yeah, also happy birthday to James. It's fine. It's not every day that you're 50, so that's fine. He's not 50. Yeah, he's probably closer to my age than 50. So, Ravi, I'll come to you. Like, I don't know. I feel like I've been banging the same drum with Arsenal generally. It's been a very difficult 2 weeks as an Arsenal fan generally. But I appreciate we're in the Champions League final. I think that's an amazing feat. But securing that second place is massively, massively important, isn't it?
Yeah, I think the last time we played a qualifier to get into Champions League, I don't think we actually got through. I think that's the one that we lost against Paris.
Yeah.
So, we've seen so many big teams fall at that qualifying stage. And as I think Dorian said, there's no time between the Euros and the qualifiers. So it's going to be really difficult for the players to stay fit and be ready for that, especially if there's going to be a high turnover in the summer as well. Seconds will just relax everyone's nerves a little bit, and it provides us a good platform to go into the final, I think, more than anything else. You can't go into a Champions League final against Barcelona of all teams with 3 back-to-back defeats, or at least drop points. So we need to secure that second place just to have that confidence to go into the final in a couple of weeks.
No, I agree. That my view on it is, I can get when people say half of their eye is on the Champions League. I get that. I think it's a very lazy example because at the end of the day, the players that were playing in the previous two games should be enough to get a result, like a positive result for the club. Do I think they could be tired as well? Yeah, it's been a long season, but to be Arsenal Football Club and to be the best of what we want to be, it's if you want to go far in competitions, Paul, it's all about the squad management, isn't it? As well, like so we're getting to semi-finals or finals of Champions League and pushing Chelsea in a title race is where we should be. So I think that just shows where we're still not at that anywhere near that level when we put performances in like we have. And I know Chelsea have dropped points in the past, but you don't see that.
Yeah, I mean we've got a decent squad. She's sort of pretty much got her starting 11 now in her mind, but they do look tired. But these are players that should be able to play throughout the season in this many competitions. But you've got to rotate your squad for certain games, and of course, then there's in a couple of years they're looking at expanding the WSL. So if we go up to 16 teams in there, that's additional games that these players are going to have to be fit for, up for, and not tired, because it's obviously going to extend the season, either at the beginning, at the end, or getting rid of the winter break, midweek games. It's going to put it more and more like the men's team, playing twice a week in there. So yeah, when it gets to the end of the season, and it seems to be happening for both the men's and the women's teams with us this season. We're just dropping off at that time where you need that extra push, and you need those players just to dig deep and find that little bit of energy and not make the silly mistakes. I mean, we're not really talking about the last couple of games, but the playing out from the back between Manu and Mariona right at the beginning of the game on Monday, it's silly things like that are just slipping into our game, and that's the sort of thing we need to avoid, because that is where titles are won and lost.
Yeah, like as said in the comments, Ravi, as well. There's not much of a break. Obviously, we've got the Euros this summer as well, so having to go through a qualifying stage is really something we don't want to be doing, isn't it? Because most of our players will be in the Euros as well.
Yeah, and it's just an unnecessary step that could have potentially avoided by winning one of these last couple of games that we've had. It should have been out of sight completely a long time ago. But results happen. We just need to make sure that we secure second place, and then from that we can develop into it. But I think it's been a tough couple of weeks. I'm not really sure what's really happened since the Lyon games, really. But yeah, as you said, there's not much turnaround time. We need to secure second, and that's really the most important thing.
Yeah. Also, morning, Mark. Hope you're doing well, mate. Cheers for tuning in again. Yeah, been a difficult couple of weeks. Arsenal Football Club generally, but what don't kill us makes us strongest, mate. So, as they say. Going on to the game, obviously, like I think we've stated enough how important it is. I think Paul, obviously, we can all have opinions on players, can't we, mate? Sorry, voice was talking. Yeah, we can have all our opinions on the players and that, but just for tomorrow, I suppose we've just got to back the players that we've got. Like, so obviously Manu Zinsberg has been facing a lot of criticism, and that, and I'm probably one of the biggest people to do that. But tomorrow is all that matters is we get that positive result and secure second, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, we're back at the Emirates. We've put in some great performances there this season. We've just got to get behind the starting 11 that she puts out and just give it all for them and back them as the team. We've got to trust that they'll do the job, and I can't see why they can't put in a decent performance. Like I said, we're back at the Emirates. It's 40,000 going to be there. It's looking like going to be a great day with the weather as well. So theoretically, we should get a decent result and we can just have a great time.
Yeah.
But this is Arsenal.
Yeah. Well, welcome to the theatre production Nickel Arsenal Football Club.
Yeah.
Craig, evening, mate. Hope you're doing good. Like Ravi, like Paul said, we're back at the Emirates. Hopefully the players can. Hopefully Rene's kind of put. It's not even 8 o'clock yet, but fuck it. Rene's put a rocket up their arse to say, like, come on, we know we're better than that, as Chris Sutton would say. Yeah, it's just all about getting that. However we play, it's fine, but we need to get that. You want to end the season on a victory, obviously, don't you?
Yeah, I think, with stuff like Russo being awarded Football Writers Player of the Year as well, like she wants to secure Golden Boot. Like the team should be rallying behind stuff like small stuff like this, just to get those individual accolades. And I think with the crowd, with the weather, from what I've seen as well from a lot of supporters groups, they really want to make it a big atmosphere and a big occasion to send the team off on a high, really. And the players need to respond to that. I think we could all probably assume what the team's going to be tomorrow, but I think they just need to show up and prove that, this is a team that can go toe to toe with Chelsea long term over the course of a season, and one that can compete with the likes of Barcelona in the European competitions as well.
Yeah, no, I agree, because that's the level we want to be at, Paul, isn't it? At the end of the day, we want to be toe to toe with Chelsea. We want to be toe to toe with Barcelona, Lyon, and those teams. And there's players still that probably still got a little bit to prove, haven't they? Like, just name a couple, like Frida Mornham. Like, I think she recently hasn't been showing her best form, so there's a huge question mark over her. Obviously, we don't know what's happening with Caitlin Ford and Beth Mead because they weren't mentioned yesterday. So that kind of shows me that maybe there's a chance that they sign new deals.
Yeah, like I say, we need to be up there. We need to be going into the start of every season being one of the bookies' favourites to be winning everything, really. We should be easily progressing to Champions League semi-finals and finals. The same in the FA Cup, the Subway Cup, the WSL. We should be up there easily competing. You've only got to look at teams like Chelsea. They've won the WSL for 6 years now. They're in another FA Cup final. Obviously won the League Cup final as well. So they're potentially on for a treble. Only one they missed out on was the Champions League final.
Shame.
But, wow, yeah. It's you've just got to look at a team like that, and that is where we need to be. That's where we were. Historically, we are the most successful women's team probably in the world. But we instead of us moving forward with everyone else, it seems we've stood still, and other teams have come in and overtaken us.
Yeah,
and
I agree with that.
but we just need to look at ourselves and say, right, how can we now be up there? And there are some individual players that really do need to be proving themselves. I've said it before, every single player that we've had this season can be a world-class player.
Yeah.
But to be a world-class player, you need to be performing week in, week out. And there's probably only 2 or 3 in our team that have done that for a majority of the season. Others, they've had moments, they've had 2 or 3 fantastic games, and then they've disappeared again. So, how do we get those players to be performing week in, week out? And that's something that Renee and the coaching staff need to work on.
Yeah, I agree with that. I don't know about Steiner, mate. I just don't know about the world class and Steiner in the same conversation.
Well, we've only got to remember that last year she scored that winning goal away at City to get us the points we needed for it. So could that be the same? Could she do it against another Manchester side tomorrow, get us the winning goal?
I hope not. But not that I hope she don't score. I just hope it's not a winning goal. I hope like we're 2-3-0 up by then or something.
Yeah, then she can score one then, but it'll probably be offside.
She reminds me, she's the Reece Nelson of women's football.
Yeah.
That's what she is. Like, but fair play to her. That's just for Darren because like he likes giving it being part of the president of the SFC in the chat. So that one's for Darren. And Craig said surely both men and the women's team can't bottle second. Yeah.
This is Arsenal.
Yeah, it's Arsenal. I don't know. It just seems like I get the one club mentality, but come on, Arsenal, you're taking the piss now. Like I'm not. So yeah, hopefully not. Hopefully both the men and the women can still get second, but yeah, I'm not sure yet. Ask me in a week's time. Ravi, obviously, like we said about the lineup, I think we'll go through it. We'll probably see Manu in goal. So I'll give you my lineup, and then you tell me if you think there's much you change or
Go on then.
stay the same. So I'd go on Naomi Whitner, just to set one. Just start get the views go with it. So no, Manu in goal, full left to right. I would go McCabe, Williamson, Catley, just because we have to. Fox. Then I would have Kim. I'm going to change it up, and I don't normally do this. I'm going Kim, Leah Volti, and Mariona. Caitlin Ford, Russo, and Beth Mead. Would you change a lot of that, or do you agree? What's your views?
I agree for the most part. However, I think Frida Marnham's going to start. I think Renee really likes her in that team. So I think she'll take one of the midfield spots. Yeah. I would like to see Nice Wonga play, but I don't think she's going to get a start in a game like this. Volti probably will come. I do think your teams are most likely to actually play that game. Yeah. But I think it's because we've seen Renee stick to quite a lot of the same players, so it's kind of predictable to an extent.
Yeah, I just think with the Paul, I'll come to you with the Leah Volti situation. Obviously, I think we know she's been injured, but she ain't going to be able to get back to her fitness or playing how she can unless she plays, is she? I understand they might not want to start her in a game like that, but yeah, I just feel like when we're attacking, Kim and Mariona's, obviously we know how brilliant they are, but when we haven't got a fast centre half playing, we're just left short, I feel, and I feel like that's been the story of the Brighton and the Villa game.
Yeah, she does add something to the team, and she also does drop back into that defensive role as well.
She's the only defensive midfielder we've actually got, isn't she? If we're honest,
exactly. I mean, this is a game that we basically can't lose, and if it means we play Volti as that defensive midfield option to add a fifth player at the back if we need her to drop in, then I think that's what we've got to do for this game. This is the sort of game that you need that sort of player in there. We know she's experienced. She's played at the top level for many years, and she'll keep her head in that sort of role. So yeah, I think for this game, I probably would start that 11. I would like to see. Obviously, I do think Amanda might get a few minutes at the end, just to give her a bit of a send off.
Sentimental minutes, isn't they? Really?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Obviously, they've already said Lena's out for this game, so she won't get a few minutes on there either. But yeah, it would be nice to see them a little bit, and if we are, if we are 2 or 3-0 up, which on recent performances we probably won't be, then
More likely to be 2 or 3 down.
Yeah, but again, bringing Pelova on and get her a few more minutes before the Barcelona game. Bring Nice-Wonga on again, like they did against Brighton. Make sure she's got minutes in her legs, and yeah, if we can get those minutes in the legs ready for Barcelona, the players that haven't been playing as much recently, just so that everyone is available and everyone's ready to go. Because realistically, we need our full squad available for that game against Barca.
Yeah. Ravi, do you think Rene's eyes are going to be firmly on Saturday? They surely got to be, haven't they? Or do you think she'll think, as long as we can avoid a defeat, that's second sorted, but Barcelona's the priority? Or I wouldn't be like that. I think you just got to go game by game. But
yeah, I think all these top managers, they always say the next game is the most important game, regardless of what the fixture schedule looks like. And I think that's the way that she's going to approach this game. Like, this is effectively a cup final to get second place and to avoid the qualification rounds for next season. So I think she's gonna take this super seriously, almost as seriously as you would for the Barcelona game as well. I just think we can't afford to slip up with this. Fine, we do have a couple of points, and a draw is fine, but I can't see her playing for a draw. I can see her being a bit more pragmatic than she would have played against Brighton or Villa, but I think either way, she's going to be going for the win here. You can't play for a draw, especially with Man United wanting to get a good performance ahead of their FA Cup final as well, and to get second place. For them, that'll be an amazing season. Whereas, for us, the benchmark, this is minimum for us. So they're going to come out swinging. So we need to do the same.
So I've always said what we're doing is the floor, not the ceiling.
Exactly.
So, and you're absolutely bang on, Ravi, as well. Like, people think, for us, Man United ain't going to want to be playing the qualifying round either.
No.
So like, no one wants to be playing in that qualifying round. So that's why I think it's going to be a very interesting game. I'll come to you, Paul. There's been a comment about Katie McCabe. We love a comment about Katie McCabe on here. About someone was saying that maybe she should be put onto the bench and Jenna starts. I find that actually interesting because I think the fan base is very split about Katie McCabe. I think we appreciate she is a great player. She has been a great player. But in that Brighton game, I thought, and the Villa game, I didn't think she was that good. So do you think this is the time when to start rotating Katie McCabe, and then maybe next season we see more of a rotation for Katie McCabe instead of playing week in, week out? Or do you still think that she gets a lot of criticism that's probably not that deserved?
Yeah, I mean, I said it on here a couple of weeks ago about potentially dropping her for the second leg of the Champions League, which obviously was very controversial at the time.
Oh, yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
But yeah, I think Jenna's been brought into the squad with a purpose. She was obviously one of Rene's first signings. And I think she is looking at next season with her. And I think it is the time now that a lot of these players, not just McKay, but a few of the others, I do feel there's a bit of complacency in the way they play, because they felt, oh, it's my position. There's no one actually coming through that's going to challenge me for it. And
Do you think it's that, or do you think she's probably shattered as well?
it's probably a combination of the two, because she has played a hell of a lot of games.
A lot more than she probably like. I know she's been one of our first team regulars, but when we like in the past we've had actual. Funny enough, there's a thing called backup fullbacks. Like we've not had one of them for a while. So yeah, like I have been criticism of Katie McCabe previously this season. I've always said that going forward, probably in the next 12 to 18 months, I think we need to look for a left back that's, say, 24, 25, that you ultimately is going to take over from Katie McCabe.
Yeah.
But who that is, I don't know. It could be Neve Charles, just with Dorian, because I know he don't like Neve Charles. It's a great fantasy football option she was last season. But yeah, but no. Ravi, I think this is like it's quite a transparent answer, isn't it? Like we could say the stuff about the same with the men's team. Like you, to challenge for all these trophies, you need to have a squad that's if one player's coming out, you've got to have someone who can do a job as well.
Yeah, and I think like how many jokes have we seen about the men's team having about 15 left backs?
Yeah, we've only got one.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden we see an 18-year-old midfielder come out of nowhere and play left back to an unbelievable degree. Who knows? Maybe we've got someone coming through the academy that can do that. Maybe we sign someone who's a bit on the younger side that can come in, play some Subway Cup games, early FA Cup games. Niswanger could be an option. I've liked what I've seen of her from the appearances that she's made. Yeah. However, whether Renee trusts her enough to start her in some games, because like there probably isn't a need to start, McCabe against a West Ham, for example. Like you can start Niswanger in there and it shouldn't make that much of a difference to the overall result of the game. But yeah, I think if we want to compete on multiple fronts and challenge Chelsea year in, year out, actually win the league and take that next step as well, we need to have a full squad of two options in each of these roles that Renee wants to play.
I agree with that. I think, Paul, as well, maybe we need to learn to rotate a bit more as well. Like, and I understand that, like, if you're comparing it to Chelsea, that's fine because they've got a massive squad. But like what Ravi said, you don't need to be playing Katie McCabe week in, week out in every single game. Like, seeing her play like in the early rounds of the FA Cup when you're playing the lower league teams, that you don't need to be doing that. So that's what I think maybe we need to do from next season. Is I'm not saying before anyone thinks I'm saying sell McCabe or nothing like that at all. But I think we need to learn to rotate so these players don't look as shattered.
Yeah, I mean, you've just got to look at the right back position with Emily Fox. I mean, she's played a majority of the games this season, but in a couple of those, was it the FA Cup rounds and the Subway Cup against Brighton, Katie Reid played at right back and has come on in a few games for her this season. So at the right back, she is rotating that position, like Ravi's just said, against the lower. Potentially the West Hams, the Crystal Palaces, those sorts of teams, and that is where you need to be doing it. You need fully fit players week in, week out, and the only way they're going to remain match fit is by playing. If they're not playing the full 90 minutes, at least coming on for 20, 25 minutes. When you are 3 or 4-0 up, like we did see against Crystal Palace away, She made those changes, brought Pelova on and gave her the minutes that she needed and things like that. But yeah, I do think the left back position, Katie McCabe's just been there week in, week out. And you need someone like, obviously she's brought Jenna in, and she needed to be playing a few more games, I feel, this season, so that she is available and
she's
ready
just
to
been. Katie McCabe kind of been used like a sponge, isn't she? So she's had to absorb all that pressure playing week in, week out on the left-hand side. And then Jenna's played 2 or 3 games, which is hardly anything. And I go back to the Katie Reid performance against Villa, was it? Like, it was an education for her, but Katie Reid's only let's be honest, realistically been just filling in at right back for the last 10, 15 minutes, just so Emily Fox can get a break. But when you see Katie Reid play there as like it's her actual position, I think it was like she was just lost for me. Like, I've always said, I thought Katie Reid was a centre half that can fill in at right back if you needed her to.
Yeah, I feel the same. I've seen her play at centre back, and that is obviously her best position. But she can fill in at the right back, but I don't think she is a right back naturally, and I don't think she'll ever be a world class right back. I mean, you do get the odd player that can switch positions, and it works really well. I mean, obviously the most famous one of those, obviously Thierry Henry, switching positions, and that worked absolute wonders. But those players, whether they're in the men's team or the women's team, it doesn't happen every season. Otherwise,
we look at Katie McCabe as well. Like, she used to play quite high up, didn't she? Like on the wing as well.
Yeah.
Look at her son. Like, she plays on the wing. We've not seen that for about 8 years. But so
I mean, if you could switch players around and turn them into world class players in different positions,
everyone would be doing it, wouldn't they?
We'd have Manu as a number 9. It's
staying as a goalkeeper.
Yeah.
But what's your views, Ravi, on the Katie Reid situation? Like, I think she got a lot of abuse, which was very, very unnecessary. Like, I think people forget, 1, her age, 2, her actual inexperience, and 3, she don't play it right. She's not actually a right back.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you guys. I mean, it's really difficult to criticize and someone that young making their breakthrough season in a bad team performance. Like, it takes 11 players to lose that game. It doesn't take 1. And there's that famous Arsene Wenger quote that young defenders will cost you points in the season, but that's the only way that they'll become world-class players, is that they take this, they learn from it, and they get the minutes that they need to play and develop. And I think you're right. She's not a right back. She's a centre back, and that is her future. But we don't have a spare right back. We sent our spare right back on loan to Man City for the rest of the season.
So she had a soft spot.
Yeah.
Still can't forgive that.
So it's one of those things where it's like we're playing Katie Reid out there as a necessity at this point, because we saw it earlier in the season as well. Like, McCabe filling in at right back for second halves, and we just need to have that trust in the team and have options that people can get behind. Like, I think Katie Reid will be next season the backup centre back to Leah Williamson, but who are we going to play at right back then if Emily Fox can't play?
Yeah, unless they went, I don't know what. So, Paul, you're probably best to talk about this bit, but could they have Viv Leah as a backup? It's not what I want to be doing, but I know she's played similar, hasn't she, before?
She has. It's not a favoured position. I mean, she's much more of an attacking winger on there, but she has filled in at left back before.
Who was it against? Was it against Southampton? Wasn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
coming on and doing that. Yeah, so she filled in there. I did go down and watch the London City Southampton game where we had some of our young girls on loan, and unfortunately Viv only played for a few minutes towards the end,
Okay.
so didn't really get to see her playing as in the full game. But Freya Godfrey had a fantastic game, got a couple of assists, and I think she's really ready now to be in our squad, to be used as a backup.
I would like to see her. If I'm honest, I wouldn't be dead against seeing her doing a whole season loan at City Lionesses again.
Yeah,
where she's testing herself in the WSL, and then so it's a bit like what Michelle's done.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of a no-brainer. We've got very lucky. We've got a good relationship with City Lionesses that a couple of our youngsters probably could get quite a good amount of WSL action because of that,
Yeah, I mean,
which
a
only is
couple
going to help us, isn't it?
obviously people like Viv Lear and Layla Harbert were at Southampton, Maddie Earls at Sheffield United.
Yeah.
And I mean, Maddie's not really getting any game time at Sheffield United. And the others playing at Southampton, they're playing at the bottom of the Championship. They're not really being able to show what they can do. They're not playing alongside. They're almost outclassing the rest of the team when they do play. So, but whereas Taya and Freya that have been at London City, they're playing alongside players of similar caliber, and obviously gone and won the league. So it would be nice if obviously London City have come up. If people like maybe Layla, Viv, Freya again could have that season at London City, because they seem to treat them better as players. They're playing them at much more. They're not just sitting on the bench week in, week out, which, there's the argument, where would they be best sitting on the bench? A bottom Championship side, or at Arsenal training with world-class players.
Yeah. Please continue with the comments in the chat. Right, I'm doing this only because he's going to buy me a pint if I say it. Right. Darren wants me to say something positive about Super Stina. The positive is that she could, in the second half tomorrow, if we have actually stretched players like Letizier and Riviere, that she could sneak through and score. So I think she could be the super sub tomorrow, Stina. So yeah, mine's a double rum and coke, please, Darren. Thank you for that. And appreciate all the love with the show as well. Cheers, Darren. Well, we'll go around and get predictions, and then we'll talk about the players that were announced they were like leaving next in the summer. So I think it's fair to do that. Ravi, what's your prediction and your first goal scorer?
I'm going to go a 3-1 win tomorrow.
Lovely.
And I think Russo is up for the game, given that it's Man United, given that she's up for Golden Boot. She's going to want a goal. And I think she's going to get at least one tomorrow.
Cool. News as well is that Bunny Shaw is out. So I think if Russo scores, she does actually get the Golden Boot. So
yeah,
shame about Shaw. Not really, but we'll do a show in the summer about the WSL. But I think Man City is a very, very big and good subject to have. But I don't think they've been spoke about enough about their failure of a season. So just dropping that in. Paul, what's your prediction and goal scorer?
I'm a bit more cautious. I think we are gonna do it. We're gonna win 2-1. I can see us going behind to start with, but then Russo getting our first goal, and then Stina off the bench to win it.
You just want Darren to buy you a drink, don't you? Darren's going to be skint by the end of the season. Right, my prediction. I might go cautious. Nah, when do I go cautious? 4-2 Arsenal. And I'm actually gonna go. Here's a turn off after the comment. I'm gonna go Katie McCabe. Score the first goal. All right, mate. I've done absolutely shit at these predictions this season. So what's the worst that can happen? Do you know what I mean? I might absolutely jam my way into getting one right. So yeah, we'll go with that. 4-2. Katie McCabe. A Russo knee slide in the last few minutes.
As long as she doesn't injure her knee.
Oh yeah, she's got a gash in her knee already, hasn't she, or a leg already? So yeah. So yeah, please continue to drop your predictions in the chat, guys. Really appreciate it. Remember, also hit that subscribe button if you've not already. Yeah, Ravi, we'll go back to you. Obviously, we saw Lena Hurty, Taya Goldie, and Amanda Illerstedt yesterday. They're all it was yesterday, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, yesterday. But it was 1 hour, wasn't it? It was like it was like the countdown to New Year. It was like the top 10, but luckily they stopped. I think those players kind of done their job. Would you say, like, especially the people like Amanda, like she done what she was there to do. She brought a smile to the club, and yeah, I don't really have a bad word to say about her.
Neither do I really. I mean, every time she played for us, you could tell she's trying her hardest. Like, she's scored important goals for us as well. And I think she's been a credit to herself with the way that she's represented us, and same with Hertig as well. I think when she has played, she has had some appearances where she's done very well, scored some important goals as well, and really tried to stay fit. And I just think she had her own personal issues as well, which is why she missed a portion of a season a while back. But I think they weren't going to get their contracts renewed. I think they knew that for a long time. I think the club weren't prepared to renew them, and I think a lot of the fans would have expected them to be leaving as well. So they've worn the shirt well, and that's all we can ask for, really. And good luck to them for their next step.
Yeah, going to you, Paul. Obviously, Taya, I feel was really, really unfortunate. I see her play a couple of times last night. I thought, oh, do you know, we could have a player there. And then done her ACL, wasn't it?
Yeah, she's done it twice.
Yeah, done it twice, and then she just never come back from that, did she? And then she had the loan at Lionesses, and like realistically, she would have been like very ill-advised to say, "Oh yeah, I'm not going to stay at London City Lionesses where I'm playing week in week out to go back," because I don't think Arsenal would have offered her a new deal. So, what's your views on Goldie? Like, do you think that's a fair reflection?
Yeah, I mean, from a career perspective, if London City have offered her a contract, she's played most of the games this season. London City are now taking the step into the WSL, and we'll see how she performs on that stage. So I think great move for her if she has gone there. Obviously, we don't know that for certain. She's not going to be guaranteed that at Arsenal. If they had have offered her a contract, it was going to be as a backup to obviously Leah and Steph. I think she's been very unlucky with us that when she has been fit and not had the ACL, there have been, there was Leah and Rafa the other season that was solid at the back, and then
I miss Rafa.
Same.
And then obviously last season Amanda was brought in as well and sort of got ahead of her, and yeah, she's just been unlucky at the timings that she's been fit. There have been experienced centre backs established at the club.
Yeah,
so I mean, I would have liked her to have stayed. I think she would have been a great backup for a season, and hopefully would have broken into the team probably in a year or so's time. but she's got to look at it from her own personal point of view. If she's happy at London City, if she has signed for them, if they're guaranteeing her week in, week out football, then that's what she's got to do.
Well, yeah, Ravi, it's about her personal development, isn't it? Like she's getting week in, week out with Lionesses. I feel really weird when I say Lionesses because it's like not the England team, the London City Lionesses, because there's still a top defender there, isn't there?
The potential's there. It's always been there. I've always liked what I've seen of her, and I think, in all honesty, staying at LCL, London City Lionesses, however you want to call them, would be the best option for her. She knows the management team. She knows the players there. She got them promoted. There is a position there for her, depending on how much investment that they want to put into this team, because they've got, from what I know, I think a pretty wealthy owner there. So I can see them putting in a lot of investment, and similar to the Newcastle men's team, when they bought Joe Willock from us for 28 odd million, and then all of a sudden get all this Saudi money coming in, and he's a bit part player now.
Yeah.
So I fear that for Taya Goldie, if they do invest all this money. However, if they really like her, they're going to play her. And I think, given the disparity between the bottom end of the WSL and the top end, this is a great way for her to develop. And then maybe in a couple of years, if she has overcome those injury problems and has developed into a legitimate top contender for some of these defensive positions, bring her back.
Well, yeah, that's the thing as well. Like, she's not at an age where you can't, in a couple of years, say, you know what, we're going to give you another opportunity. So that's a good point as well. And then finally, we'll talk about. I don't think any of us saw this one coming. Like, it was a very shockwave through the fan base. Lena Hurty. Yeah, Paul. It must have been very, very frustrating for her. Like, she's had a few injuries, a few personal problems off the pitch. But when she's been on the pitch, she's actually been decent, hasn't she? Like, I think she scored against Juventus earlier in the season. So yeah, what's your views on Lena? Obviously, it's not a surprise that she is leaving, but her career at Arsenal.
Yeah, I mean, I say no shocks really. With her, when she's been on that pitch, she's been, she's been a great player for us. But like you say, she's had the injuries, she's had the personal problems. She had a long period away from the squad, and when you do come back, even if you are fully fit, it does take time to get back into the team. It's not a case of, oh, I've just nipped back home for a week and missed 3 or 4 training sessions. It was a long period, and I think that's hampered her as a player in general. But when she pulls that shirt on and when she comes out on that pitch, yeah, she's been great for us. Scored a couple of goals. Can't really think of anything sort of that she's put a foot wrong. But I say not real surprised that she's leaving, because at the end of the day, we do need to look at this as a club as a whole. We need a squad that's available week in, week out, and the players that are injury prone and things like that. Unfortunately, this is business, and they take up a valuable place in that squad, and you can't afford to have those sorts of players in your squad when you are competing or trying to compete at the top level, because they just take that place away from somebody that could score you that winning goal, in the 95th minute against Barcelona.
Yeah. No, I agree. Ravi, what's your final thoughts on Lena, and her career at Arsenal?
Yeah, I mean, I echo the same sentiments as Paul. I think I've been very happy with her when she has played, but it's the frequency of that's been the issue. We need a squad that you can rely on, that will be there week in, week out. Injury problems are their own thing, and like it seems like she's gotten like through her personal battles as well, which is always a good sign. And that's what we want to see from basically any player, really, and anyone. But at the same point, she's worn that shirt with pride, and she hasn't hidden away from it. She's scored goals, important goals, when we've needed them, and there is a really good player in there. So hopefully, whatever she goes on to, as long as it's outside the WSL, she can do it pretty well, and play much more regularly than she has done for us.
I reckon she'll go back to Sweden.
I see that as well.
Yeah, but so we'll wrap up there as we've covered all the stuff we need to. Just want to say thank you to everyone that's commented in the chat, and just remember, like, obviously we all have our opinions, and it is okay to criticize players. It's okay to praise players. But at the end of the day, all they are opinions. It's not something that you have to get very abusive or want to beat someone up in the street over. It's just football. We all love football. We all have our opinions, and you're all wrong and I'm right. So yeah, double jokes aside. But yeah, so just remember that we all support Arsenal. We all want what's best for the club. Paul, thank you for coming on tonight.
Thank you. Looking forward to seeing everyone again tomorrow. And I've already started pre-match drinking. Yeah,
I'll be there tomorrow. I had a couple of games break. I did choose the good games to miss as well, like the Villa and Brighton one. So my record this season, I didn't do Häcken away. We lost. I didn't do Chelsea at home or away. We lost. I didn't do Villa or Brighton. We lost. So the only game I've missed that we've won was the City game. So
you need to be coming along to a few more games.
Basically.
Right, there we are. That's the problem.
So for Arsenal watching, like, just if you want to reduce the membership prices and just be like pay for our travel, just saying. But yeah. Ravi, thank you. It was great to do a show with you for the first time. So yeah, thank you, mate.
Thank you for having me. And I don't think I've met anyone from the show in person yet. So I will be at the game tomorrow. So hopefully I do get a chance to meet everyone.
Yeah. Are you at the meetup before?
I won't be able to make it to the meetup before, but I should be in and around the stadium about midday.
Cool. What block are you sitting?
I should be 15.
Okay, so yeah, you're not that far. So we'll sort it out. Then we can all meet and stuff.
Yeah,
cool. I just want to say thanks to Dorian as well. Super Dorian, as always, like doing the stuff behind the scene. He's don't know. He's like the Mariona of the podcast. So does all the stuff that we're not talented enough to do. So yeah, thank you everyone. Hopefully we can secure second place tomorrow. And come on, you Gunners. Take care and have a lovely weekend. Good night.